This past winter, my mom passed away from a brain aneurysm. With her passing, she left behind a large forested property to my siblings and I. It was an easy decision to keep it so our families could enjoy it, but also so we could keep my mom's legacy alive there. I love spending time there with family, working together to look after and manage the place. But we also all enjoy spending time alone, and this large tract of land provides ample opportunity to do so. This is where the idea came from, when I suggested to Anita about building a bunkie and creating a space we could call our own. In the spring, we identified an area which we knew would be an ideal spot for the bunkie. It wasn't too far from the house, was off an old logging road that existed on the property, and wasn't too far from a water source. I spent a few weekends in the spring clearing and widening the road to the build site so we could eventually bring in supplies and equipment. However, once all that was done, we had a major setback. On the May long weekend, a massive storm called the derecho hit southern Ontario and caused severe damage to the area. Power lines were down everywhere, trees blocked access out of our property, and we had no power for 3 days. It was the worst storm we've ever experienced on the property, as the damage was extensive and widespread. Okay, the destruction from the tornado and the winds and the storm yesterday was crazy. So I had to go around because there were so many trees down. You can see there's a bunch of trees down here that's blocking the way. This is the path that we would take the ATV to go to the barn. But if you look over here, it doesn't get any better. Here's the logging road that continues down. But as you can see, there are multiple trees down, preventing you from going that way. However, more importantly, this is the entrance to the open area where we were going to do the bunkie build. And as you can see, huge poplars come down, and now it's blocking the way. And I don't even know what else is beyond there that's fallen. So this is pretty bad. It was now obvious that we would have to concentrate our efforts in clearing the downed trees so we could get access back to the build site. It was disappointing as we hoped to start building at the beginning of summer, but such is the nature of doing things outdoors. You just have to go with the flow. Barely a week had passed, and we were back at the property to tackle the downed trees. Unfortunately, though, we had another setback. While purchasing a temporary shelter for the build site, Anita unexpectedly tore her meniscus in her knee while loading the vehicle. This meant her ability to walk and do physical work was significantly impaired, so although she was joining me, she was limited as to what she could do. Okay guys, we're just out on the property, and we were going to start working on the build site, but unfortunately, you heard about that big storm that came through. We got hit by derecho, I think that's how you pronounce it, a very strong straight line wind, and it knocked a lot of trees down, not only on our property, but all around, and we had like power outage for 3 days. So the trail goes in this way, but as you can see, there are 3 big poplars that came down, and this is what we're going to work on and try to clear it. And there's actually another one beyond there as well too. Last week, my brother and my brother-in-law worked to cut that poplar out of the way, so we got access over there. But we just got to keep continuing until we can get further in along this trail. So it'll be a tough day of work, and hopefully we'll be safe. But yeah, we're going to tackle this so that we can get through. When bucking a down tree for firewood, normally I would cut them to size, but at this point I was just trying to speed up the process of removing the down trees for access, so I was cutting them in longer lengths. The downside, of course, is that the longer pieces are pretty heavy. I was starting to have my doubts as I moved down the trunk into the thicker parts. I haven't used this chainsaw in years, but despite being very powerful, the one thing I noticed was that it was not cutting as well or as fast as it used to. It was likely the chain, and something I would have to look into later on. I was amazed at the mess and tangle from the crown of the tree. There was so much leaves and branches to cut and remove. It was definitely more work than just bucking the trunk of a tree. In fact, this was my first time removing a downed tree, as I don't have a lot of experience using a chainsaw, but guarantee I was going to get a lot of experience in short order. Of course, when all the small limbs are cut and removed, then it becomes easy, especially as the trunk is in the air and there's no need to bend over nor be concerned with the chain hitting the ground. We also had a small new battery-operated chainsaw for limbing, something Anita was more comfortable using. But not long after using it, it stopped working. But it wasn't the battery. This was very disappointing, as it meant Anita couldn't help with cutting, and I had to limb the tree as well with the heavy husky. But the end was in sight. I was on the last tree blocking the way through, and soon we would be able to move on to the next set of downed trees. I'm not sure if I saved any significant time cutting longer pieces, especially as it took some time to move them as well. But maybe more relevant, it took a lot more effort. I guess live and learn? Yep, short pieces next time. But of course, I've been known to forget. Well, that's a wrap for today. We almost got through, but it's a lot of work. 3 big trees, and these pieces, I cut them up into sizes so that we could split and use in the fire wood stove. And there's still a lot more to cut sectionals, but we made some progress. Unfortunately, the only thing is that the ryobi saw didn't pan out, because we really liked it. It was really handy and great for cutting limbs, but it just didn't come through for us. Anyhow, time to get back. I'm hungry, thirsty, and tired, and I'll probably need a good wash, but it was a good day out in the bush. So thanks for joining me here in Goshen.